excited to hear how you're doing. Geez, the ups and downs, right? The ups and downs and all that.
It's like a tug-of-war in my brain and my body and my freaking life, and like, it's just like you said, I'm like in this middle, like limbo, like, and I don't like being in the middle, like, you know.
Yeah, because you're stuck in fear and you're not doing anything about it, you know, but you know you don't want to do what you've been doing about it. So you're just sitting there, and you got to have courage. This is where to make that jump, you have to have courage. And it takes courage to let go of something when you don't know what you're going to get in exchange. There's no guarantee. You just have to have courage to know it's got to be better. And however I'm handling this, I got to trust that if I can handle this, which is miserable hell, I got to be able to handle something different. So is it worth the risk and the courage it takes to let it go? What's life going to be like if it's not about your weight?
Yeah, I mean, I know, and I keep going back, like I keep comparing how you say living in hell, you know, so I keep comparing, like, okay, when I was doing keto, you know, versus like now. And, you know, like how life was like. And, you know, to me.
You were safe, but you had no life. You're safe.
But I had, like, to me, I have less of a life now. Like I actually did way more things.
God, you have really gone back down again since your last texting, for you to say something like that. Like, you've really gone back down for you to say that.
Well, I guess I feel like I'm not living life, or I'm definitely not, like, happy.
Yeah, well, you're treating it like you're the victim in this whole thing. Like, you're a victim. And you're not seeing that you're the asshole, right? You're the one that's not letting yourself go out. It's not the weight that's not letting you go out. It's your douchebaggery.
Yeah.
It's your asshole.
You're right.
You're the dick. And you're all sad about it, even though you're the one abusing yourself. As if the weight's doing that to you. You know? So, again, the narcissism in the supremacy of your keto lifestyle. You don't see the narcissism asshole in it. That wasn't a life. Are you kidding me? I know you know what I'm saying is true. It's a horrible life. But the problem is the downside of that ego narcissism is that if you're not meeting those standards, you end up in hell. You end up in a pit and you won't come out. It's not the weight that puts you in that pit. It's the narcissism that says, you can't go out, you can't do anything. So really look at what's creating this isolation. Is it your weight? Or is it a horrible belief system that says, because you're overweight, you can't go out?
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think I can't go out. I just
don't.
Yeah,
So you can recognize the truth in what I'm saying. Okay.
I mean, it's not like when I go out, I'm embarrassed. I just kind of like feel like I'm stuck in this hole and I can't get out, and it's like this hole of like, okay, I just feel like I had like given up and like, you know, I don't put makeup on anymore.
So that's all symptom of someone who's superficial, right? Mm-hmm. And you're wondering why you're not willing to be superficial anymore. And where's the middle ground? So maybe it's the persona. Maybe you're not looking at the persona you had before. I mean, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. You know, I understand you're being honest about where you're at, and that's really, really important. Because the truth is, you've been here, you and I have been here, the cycles have gone around about 3 or 4 times since we started working. You've gone through this 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we started, I said, yeah, some people got to do that. Some people got to go round and round and round and round. They got to be more miserable, more miserable. And remember, I was like, you need to go on a diet. And you went on a diet. And you got miserable again. You said, I can't do it anymore. And then you stopped. And you were like, I'd rather never diet again. And then now you're back to the point where you're like, I can't do this anymore. I have to diet.
I can't hear you. Or keep going like,
okay, got it. I need to come closer. So I need you to look at the cycle.
Right,
Just observe it.
Like,
where it goes, how it works.
The cycle, and I get it, totally get it intellectually.
So I'm talking emotionally. I need you to look at it emotionally. You need to recognize what's going to happen. Let's go into losing weight. Go back on keto. Woohoo! How's that feel? Try it. Remember we did this our second session. Second or third session, we were right here. Going around again.
I know.
I'm okay with that. See, in my mind, I'm like, why don't you go on the goddamn keto? Go do it. You sit here and you're a victim of your body, poor me, which in reality, you're a victim of the belief system. You're a victim of your narcissism.
Yeah.
It's not the body that's making you feel this way. It's your belief systems.
Right.
You get that intellectually. You need to see it emotionally. It's time that the emotional body gets it. The emotional part of you gets it. The part of you that wants to be in denial. Hide. Don't face truth. Just stay in denial. When do you face the truth? What's going to happen if you go back on keto? What's your life going to be like, dearie? What's it going to be like? Don't fantasize. Be truthful to yourself. How's it going to feel when food is the center of everything you think about and talk about and think about, and everything you do every day is about food and what you can't eat and what you shouldn't eat and what you're not going to eat and what you did wrong? How's that going to work out? Be truthful. Don't live the fantasy anymore. You've chased that fantasy. What happens in reality? Clearly. So why don't we go do it? Remember how you were like, I'll do keto, and then you couldn't do keto, and then you're like, I'll just get on another round of HCG because I need structure. Okay, so let's get on another round of HCG. Remember that? And then you got off HCG, and then you went back on HCG, and then you got back off HCG. And then you're going to go back on something. So let's just do it again. To me, the benefit of all of this is you continue to suffer. You are. And I'm okay with that. You can handle more than what you're suffering with, for sure. If you weren't suffering, you wouldn't be going around in circles still. I mean, there's enough suffering that you're going around in circles. You quit the whole fantasy pretty soon after you start it. I mean, it doesn't take very long for you to quit. Right? The good news is you're staying in this space. You and I have been working together now for a few months. You've been in this space of being content with your weight for quite a long time. So the space of being content with the body is lengthening. That's awesome. I see so much improvement. I know that you're like, oh my God, I'm going back around. I can't help it. I can't help it. I see so much improvement. So.
I do too, because I've been like, for, I don't know, maybe a week, like going back and forth, like I don't feel that super like sketchy impulsiveness to get back on like something super strict, and like, I've been like contemplating it, and like, it's not that impulsiveness, like.
So that's diminishing, although it's there now. You've come right back to it. That email you sent me was so classic. It was so classic. It could be like, I'll erase your name and put it right in the book. So classic. Impulsive. It is so irrational. It is so like sketched out addict. Like, I gotta get my drug. I gotta get my drug. You should go back and read it. You'll hear it. You'll see it and go, holy shit. It's like, I am having my complete and total withdrawals from my thin narcissistic supremacy of an amazing life that you can't tolerate for even a few days anymore. You can't do it. I know, which is why I'm like, do it, go on a diet, do it.
Right, I know it's like...
You could tell, right, in the email. Okay, well, I can't wait. Start planning your next diet. Let me know what you're going to do. Do it. You see it. I know. You need to get it emotionally. The intellect does nothing.
Right.
And because your intellect ultimately is hijacked by the emotional part of your brain. I mean, it's working for the emotional part of your brain. That's why you rationalize and reason why it was so magical for you to be thinner and even though you wouldn't do it very long. You can't do it. You're just in denial. Admit you fail. You suck at it. You suck at keto. You suck at HCG. You suck at all diets at this point. Admit it to yourself. You can't even last a few days. You did the HCG protocol last time cheating the whole time. Just admit. You really hate it. Do I gotta force it out of you? I mean, I'm the one who's just telling you the truth. Why can't you tell yourself the truth?
I know. I guess I don't think keto was that bad. Like,
oh my God. That's why I think you should do it. Let's just see how bad you are at it. Let's find out how long it lasts, you know. I'm just, you're in denial. You are not telling yourself the truth. You're not. You're refusing. Why? What is behind the lie? Because you're lying. I know you feel that way right now, but what do you think's promoting that feeling? Do you think that it's rational Is it a rational thing that's promoting that thought that keto wasn't that bad? Do you really think it's rational what's driving that thought?
No.
It's irrational. I know you're feeling it. You actually feel that way. It's no different than, you know, me thinking the same thing when I have an eating disorder. I know exercise will always fix things. And I always feel so much better after I do an hour and a half of cardio. And I love it, really. Okay. So what's so bad about your weight? You know, what's so bad about your weight? Why is it so bad? Where does the badness come from?
Oh, the belief.
The belief of what?
That thinner is better.
It's beyond that. It's bigger than that. If that was as simple as it gets, would you be feeling so bad?
Well, no, because I don't believe that thinners that like I feel that in my heart.
Yeah.
I'm not less of a person.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Stop, because that's your intellect talking. I'm done talking to the intellect. It's useless. You're not. You need to tell the truth. Where is this feeling coming from? You're feeling ashamed. You feel horrible. You feel unacceptable. You're catastrophizing, right? That's all of that bigness of, I can't do this, is so bad. Where does that come from? It's got to be a pretty shitty belief system. And it's juvenile, so it's not even an adult way of thinking. So the adult awareness you have is irrelevant. Why? Because it's not applying to this. You're not applying it. It's like a belief for out there. But for now, I'm going to be 14 years old, and I'm going to emotionally approach this as if I'm a juvenile. That's where you're stuck. Right? And that's why you feel this way. You're not giving, your life has no depth. There's no width, depth. There's no wisdom in it. You're run by this immaturity. Right? Go into your wisdom. It's going to be pretty pathetic on your deathbed, isn't it? My life was dedicated to feeling shitty about my weight and trying to be thinner. I'm so successful. But I wasn't. It was pathetic. And I had no life because I was in a fat body. It's tiny, right? So you would have to break out of this. And how do you break out of it? When this is all you know, it's the easiest thing for you. But you're miserable. You're miserable. It is miserable.
like I know,
I'm telling.
so miserable.
It is miserable. Yeah, but your weight right now, is it really that miserable? Or is your emotional sense of it miserable?
I feel it's more the actual weight than the emotional part of it. I think I can deal with the emotional part.
I just gave you a big eye roll. My eyes just rolled around my head. Because you're lying. You're a big fucking liar. That was a lie. That was your trying to position yourself to get what you want bullshit. That was a lie. That's not true. You know it. You're just trying to position yourself to get what you want. So you're saying these things. But they're not even true.
Well, I feel worse physically than I do, like, emotionally. I mean, I swear that's true. I swear to you, I'm not lying. Like,
What have you been doing? What have you been doing?
nothing. I mean, that's like,
How did you all of a sudden become uncomfortable physically?
well, it's kind of been like leading up to it. And then,
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I haven't really been overeating.
So what's going on? Why all of a sudden is it a big deal when like a week ago, a month ago, it wasn't a big deal? Why is it all of a sudden a big deal?
Well, I think it's a month ago, I was doing the ATD, so I think I gained back any bit that I lost, and then I'm back at that point where I like.
But up to that point, like a few pounds earlier, right? You didn't, no pain at all. I mean, how much weight are we talking?
Well, no, I mean probably. I don't know if I haven't even weighed. I can just tell by feeling, and I mean probably less, probably maybe between 5 and 10.
Okay, so is that really physical?
Well, for me it is.
I get that, but let's just talk about this for reals now. Really? I know your clothes probably are tighter.
Like 10 pounds is a whole size for my.
That's fine. I'm just saying it's still just one size. One size. Is it really that bad? Or are you blowing this out of proportion? Is this... Be truthful with yourself. Be really truthful with yourself. Because you're not. You're not at all. You're not facing reality. You're in your head. You're distorted. You're magnifying. You're catastrophizing. You're doing all of what those distortions are. And it could be so much worse. But we're making this horrible, right? This is part of it, right? Yeah. It's really not, but you're convincing yourself it is. What should you do?
What should I do?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've been going back and forth because.
No, just go with what you want. What do you want? Because then what?
I want to lose. Yes.
Okay, so let's go on a diet. Do it. I think you should do it. I think you should go on a diet. I think you should do something restrictive, and we should start monitoring your weight. Because you need to know if the diet's working. And you need to focus on it. You need to make sure you do all the prep work. Doesn't this sound exciting? It's what you want. It's the easy thing. This is easy. This is the easy part. This is like, duh. Easy, weak, no big deal. Doesn't take much effort. Go. Get it done. That's easy. Where does it go? Where does this land? We both know it's a mirage. You've been chasing this goddamn mirage for decades, so it's not like you're 12 and don't know. I mean, that's where you're positioned, is junior high, I don't know. but you're not. You're old enough to know where this lands. Where's it gonna go? You would absolutely get immediate sense of, okay, I'm fixing it. It's better. That will be there. You're going to get the narcotic part of it. You're going to get high. You're going to be like, I'm organizing control. You're right. And you're going to be restrictive and you're going to be strict. And it's going to be pretty much all or nothing. And then what?
Well, I mean, that's where I think I could do it now with more grace.
Oh, but you don't have grace with the body. So how's that going to work out? Because you don't, how do you do that? You have no grace with the body. So how are you going to do that?
Well, I have a little grace with the body.
Okay, so we should try it. I think you should do this.
Before I, before I okay, I have to lose 40 pounds, I have to get down to certain, this certain number.
Yeah. So there's the big difference now. So why don't you go on a diet and let's see how it works out. I think you should try it your way. I think your way has worked really great so far. Do it. I'm all for it. I think that there's a huge benefit for you. There's been a benefit to every time you've jumped back on a diet. It's been beneficial. You've been on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off since we started. Now we're back on. Each time you've gotten something out of it. Each time. I know. So I really do think you should try it again. Go, 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 go. Do it. Do it again. Do it again. And where's it going to land? Every time it lands right here, doesn't it? Every time. Every time it lands right here. Right here. This exact point is where it lands. And this is the exact point you catastrophize it. I just can't. I can't, Robin. I can't do it.
I know. I think you're right. I think I need to try it one more time.
You do. No, you should try it 5 more times because you know you're going to get here again. And it's going to be just like this. This is how it's going to feel the next time around. It's not going to feel any different. It feels just like this. But it hurts. Physical, Robin. It's a physical thing. It's not emotional. It's physical. Okay. Not realizing it's actually a matter of what you can handle, and you're really not handling much. So maybe at some point you have to handle more than you want. Might have to. Yeah. Maybe you might have to grow some courage. But you're not. You don't want to. So let's not have courage. Let's not go there. You should go around another cycle. It'll be right here. It's going to feel exactly the same. It's identical. You might be fatter. You just need to be okay with that. When you do another cycle of this, every time it affects your body in that direction, that negative direction in terms of what you're looking for right now. Because it's the way the body responds every time you go on a famine. Body doesn't know what it is. Doesn't care. It's famine. And you psychologically perceive it as deprivation and you become a victim of it. And that's when things get really shitty, right? That's when you quit. You didn't see it the last time you tried to do this with me. Yeah.
Well, I think because I
just do keto.
In my head, I think it's because I was going back on and off the HCG.
No, you quit HCG and you went to keto.
But not really. I don't really remember that.
I do. I've got it clear in my head. You don't remember because you don't remember how bad any of it is until you get on it and you're like, this is horrible. I don't want to do it anymore. I'd rather be fat. And then you leave. No. And then you're like, fine, I don't care. And then you do care because you're trying not to gain weight. This is super predictable. You're doing exactly what you've been doing before, but you're like I said, the benefit so far is that you've been actually really given it a lot of grace until you've gotten to this point, and then you're just right back. Boom. I mean, the energy is the same. The thought process is the same. The level of awareness is the same. Nothing's really moved. Except you've given yourself more time in between your drug use, which is the dieting, right? So I'll take that. That to me is really good. All of that is positive in relation to recovery. This isn't my first rodeo, dearie.
No, I know, and I think maybe it's just going to take me longer. Like, I don't expect like instant. Like I'm more recovered than I think I am. Like I know I maybe have made some baby steps, but I know I'm not very far along. Like.
No, you are. When it happens abruptly. It does. It's what it takes to get there. However, depending on the narcissism engaged here and the unwillingness and the lack of humility and because you're not willing to tell the truth. So that's a lack of humility in specific to this area, right? So I'm not saying you're defined as unhumble. You're very difficult in this specific environment. So, and I'm not going to argue with that bullshit. So I think you should do what you want to do. I'm not going to take that from you, especially when it provides you with essential suffering that you need to continue to experience. And I'm telling you, this is such an important part of the process. And it's really important on my side to give you that grace. I understand this. I did it too. I just did it by myself. You're doing it with someone sitting here, poking. And so that's why I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. You're doing a good job at what you're supposed to do. Every step of this way is extremely important. And that includes going back into the dieting. And it's just like every aspect of what you're doing is ultimately going to dismantle the whole thing. Right? And sometimes you have to go back in to really solidify the fact that you can't continue to do this. How many more times can you go around in circles? You will come to the point where you're sitting here in this spot. Okay, let's just say you're going to go through 3 or 4 more of this, in and out. The outs are longer, the ins are shorter, and that's good, right? And what I mean by outs are the time you give yourself grace from it. You're like, I can't do this anymore. And then in the back of your mind, I'll lose weight later, or I hope I'll lose weight with the hunger scale, or I hope, which means you're always going to have overeating issues, but at least you're not binging, right? That's safer than the binge and dieting pendulum swing. I'd rather you sit in anxiety overeating while you hold on to the thin supremacy, but give yourself a break, which is what you've been doing. And I tell everybody at the beginning, you're going to gain more weight doing that. And you probably have. It's exactly what's to be expected because you're still feeling bad about it. You still project it into food. You still have anxiety over food. So you're really not ever not dieting. It's just you're not implementing the diet yet, but you still hold on to the belief patterns of it. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing that. So this whole keto bullshit, you've probably been holding on this whole time, and how that's impacted your food is in anxiety while you eat it, constantly thinking I shouldn't be doing it, I shouldn't be doing it, I shouldn't be doing it. And how do you think that manifests physically?
Right.
Yeah, you never really thought the keto was wrong, bad, not good. Never would have thought that, right? Now you have the consequences of holding those beliefs and then trying to take a break from it, which is anxiety eating. And now you're overweight and you're going to go back to keto. How's this going to turn out? It's going to go back in a circle, right? The dieting is ultimately what promotes the issues with food. So the only reason you're dieting is because you shame your weight, right? So how are you going to release yourself from the food morality, gatekeeping, if you still feel shame about your weight, right? And so you're still holding on to all those things, and it's inevitable you're going to relapse, right? But the breaks in between are good and important steps because you can get a sense of some relief.
Right.
And there's benefit to that too. When you get through that cycle and you go through it again and again and again, and you realize this is the same spot I've always been. This is the same spot I was on when I jumped on the last round of the protocol and didn't tell Robin. Remember that?
Yeah.
This is the same exact place. This is the same exact place you were when you told me I will do keto. I'm really good at it. Go back to our second or third session. You'll hear it. It's the same conversation. We're basically having the same conversation. Okay? And you're going to hear it. And then you're going to... And I was sitting there going, well, shit, you know, she's on the protocol. She should finish the protocol. You quit the protocol. Then you were like, but I can't not be trying to lose weight. So you went back on keto, but you quit keto within days. And then I was like, take a break. But then you started the HCG protocol because you didn't want a disappointment, which to me is just like, for reals, I don't care. Right? And then you were on it. And I was like trying to help you through it. And you were cheating the whole time. And at least gave yourself some grace, which we both saw was very beneficial. Think of all that you've learned. But you're still at the same spot you are every time you jump back on to something. This place right here is the space. We're bringing you to this space. My goal is to get people here, right here. Not physically. The dieting does that for you. But it's this space emotionally. This is the point at which you face the demons. You face your inner shit. You can either face it now, or you can deny it, reject it, avoid it, don't look at it, and go back on a diet. You see, I'm hoping you can see this emotionally. Tell yourself the truth about it. This is going to go back around in circles, and at some point you're going to be right here again, and it's going to feel identical. It's going to feel exactly the same because it's emotional. It's not physical. Just the choice to go on paleo is instantly going to make you feel better. Oh my God, all of a sudden I feel so much better just in the choice to do paleo. Nothing's happened. Not because of the paleo, it's because your brain thinks, I'm doing something to save me from hell. Because of your perceptions. Even though what you're doing is activating that primal animal that is wired to want to feel safe, to want to feel complete with food. And that animal is going to win in the end, which is why they're cycles. When I mean animal, I'm talking about the one that wants food.
Yeah.
That's going to win. And there'll be another cycle, and you'll get right back here again. You can either face it now, go into what it would be like now, or you can go through another, you're going to go through another denial cycle. That's what that is. I'm going to deny it. I'm going to run away from it. I'm going to hide from it. And it does come around. It's going to come back.
All right.
I'm okay with either. I really don't care. Because to me, as your guide, I feel there's benefit to both. There's benefit to you just facing your shit, or there's benefit from hiding again. Because you're going to suffer some more. You're going to go through this again. You're suffering now because of it. You're suffering now because of it. It's not because of your weight. It's because you're refusing to open your mind around what this is about. Right? Don't go there. We tried.
I know.
You're not releasing it. You're not releasing it. You're still living by it, you know. So you gotta can live in denial and keep on doing this running away thing.
Yeah, I guess you've seen it for so long, like.
And I've done it myself. I did it myself.
People are more stubborn than others, or more, like.
No, just unwilling. It's not about being stubborn at all. It really comes down to allowing yourself to feel vulnerable, or at least telling the truth. So I know for me, talk about stubborn, I'd rather kill myself at the time. I'd rather kill myself, die, than to gain weight. So what is that? Is that being stubborn? No. It has more to do with fear and a sense that you can't handle things. Because I felt like I couldn't handle what was underneath it all. I believed it would obliterate me, and I was instead willing to obliterate myself with a gun to the head, you know. It's a lot. It's not being stubborn. This has a lot to do with also willingness to admit that it is a circle. So you're in denial there. You don't want to admit it. Partly because it's not because, let me rephrase that, because I don't think it's you not wanting to admit it. You're afraid to look at it and know that that's true.
Okay, I see that. I know. I
Because if you look at it, you'll know it's true. And
like
that's going to suck.
I peeked at it, not faced it, and then I still hold this like little bit of
that means you haven't looked at it. You haven't looked at it.
Right.
Yeah, that's like, I don't want to find out my husband's cheating on me.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. No, that's what it feels like. So that, like I said, it's not a matter of I don't want to admit it. It's I can't handle the truth. So I'd rather just do all of this insane work and devote my entire life to something that will never come to fruition. Because I can't handle it, if that is true. Do you see where you're dedicating your whole life to something that isn't true? It sucks. There's nothing good about what you're doing. You can convince yourself, but that's convinced based on a fantasy. It's not a truth. It's not real. It's a lie. Right. So every time you're like, it's physical, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a fantasy. It's not. Yeah. So it's do you want to find out if he's cheating or not? Because if you find out he's cheating, you're gonna do something about it. You're not gonna sit there and accept it. That's the problem. Yeah. You will do something about it. And you don't want to face it. So you're going to live dedicated and wasting your life, literally a waste of creativity, of exploration, because you're afraid to face what's true.
Yeah. You're so right. Exactly.
I've been here before. I've been here. I've done it. I feel it. I can feel that. I can sense that in you. It's like, but no, he's not cheating. I just think we can work on it. And, I should probably, make the house cleaner for him. And, we're working on it. That lady, I don't know why she's on his phone. She must be a massage therapist or something. Because, he needs his massage. Denial, right? That's your keto. Oh, keto is so easy. Really. Even though inherently it puts you in survival mode with food because it's so depriving in relation to our culture, which means your higher blood sugar goes up because you're triggering fear-based thinking around food. So keto is very difficult to manage, especially when you're in that state of mind. So it's like, and then you're more than likely going to binge again. You will start binging again. You know that. The more strict, because keto it's like very radical.
See, I guess I don't see it as that. I see HTT as that. Like I don't ever want to go on that again.
Okay. I want you to go back and listen to our second or third session because you are saying the same shit over and over and over and over again. Because before you said the same thing, you went on keto, quit it, and said, I'd much rather do the HCG protocol. It's so simple. It's so direct. There's no thinking. You do what you're told. You can at least have fruit. And there's a couple crackers. You just go back and forth, pick and choose based on, and you're right, HCG is super radical. I would agree with you, but you know what? It's meant to be done for a very short period of time. It's not a lifestyle. It's not meant to be done forever.
Right.
So you're forgetting all this shit. Once again, I'd rather just tolerate, how he treats me. It's no big deal. I can tolerate that. I'd rather do that than be alone. Mm. Yeah. Sounds just like a woman who's in denial, right?
Yeah.
That's you right now.
You're so smart. Yes, exactly. I know.
So you can either find out the truth and look at the goddamn truth. The moment a battered wife, you know, if you look at battered wife syndrome or Stockholm syndrome, which is what you're suffering from, except for you're not married to, it's not married to an abuser. You're married to the diet and the thin supremacy, and that's the abuser you're holding yourself to. It's a belief system, and they've seen this in religious cults. They've seen this in communities, right? You know, so the truth is looking at the circle. It's the cycle. You need to see what's going to happen. That's why I keep on saying, you're going to come around. It's going to go around. It's going to go around. Where's this going to land? Right here. This is the landing point that you always leave. This is the point at which you're constantly trying to escape. Right here. You're at it. And this is the one where you go, I can't do it. I don't want to look.
Yeah.
But what if it's true? What if this doesn't get better than this? What if this is it? It's not going to get better. There is no making it better. There is no, how do I continue to be a thin supremacist and not have the downside of thin supremacy emotionally? How do I leave the cult but yet hold myself to the standards of it? How do I escape cult mentality when I still believe and hold myself to the mentality? Well, you must believe that there's something beneficial coming from that mentality, as if it's going to get you something. What are you getting from it? You know, again, if you find out you're not getting shit from it and nothing ever comes of this, you've spent decades doing this. What have you really gotten from it? Did you get thinner? Really? You'd assume, don't you agree, with the type of effort, dedication? Look at the dedication you're putting for this. You're literally dedicating your life to it. You're about to go do it again. I mean, dedication, man. Stand by your diet. Right? How's that Stand By Your Man song? Just going right back. Going right back. What do you think you're going to get? You think he's going to be different? You think this is going to be different this time? No, he's not a cheater. No, it's so livable. I can live that way. Really. Let me know how that goes between you and your food instructions. Every time you sit down at that table of restriction, how's it feel when you have just certain select foods on that table? How does it really feel? You know what? It'd be so much easier for you to live, and you wouldn't probably have the same struggle if you were in a third world country. It would be really easy for you to do keto. You'd fit right in. No, you would. It wouldn't be so hard. You probably wouldn't feel deprived. You'd feel starved. That's different, right? Just a thought.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Oh, I know.
Go back.
I just don't want to waste your time. You know, I just feel bad. Like,
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like going in circles is like, they know it's stupid. They know it's.
It is not. It is from recovery's point of view, of course. It's just a waste. But when you're not recovered, it's really important. It's actually very, very important for you. And you'll find this when you get on the other side and you're in recovery, you're totally recovered. You're no longer in a recovery process.
Yeah.
You're going to go, I had to do it. I had to have that, and I had to do this. All of those things had to happen for me to come to this place of acceptance, which means I faced the truth. I had to accept that if my husband was cheating, that I needed to know, and I needed to know sooner than later. I wasn't going to put my life on pause anymore for this scumbag thinking it's going to be better than it is, because that's why a battered wife stays. They always think it's going to improve, because that's what the belief system promotes. It's easy. It's going to change. It's new. And there's always, I mean, look at the diet industry. It's new. It's new and improved. You know, it used to be Atkins, now it's keto. What's the fucking difference? What's the difference? Nothing. They got a new name for it. We're going to spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Same goddamn thing. You know? It's like, no, it's not. It's totally different, Robin. There's more science. It's a science name. Okay. Holy shit. You're going to end up with diverticulitis anyways.
I see that every day.
Yeah, you're about to have it. So go back on your keto. Just accept the diverticulitis. Oh, I'm patient. You're not wasting my time. You aren't hopeless. If you were, I would be like, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work. I would have cut you off a long time ago. I've told you that multiple times.
Yeah. I know. I guess that last session you had with Angie, it kind of scared me.
Oh, Jesus, okay.
It kind of scared me, and I was like,
oh, tell myself the truth.
She's going to yell at me like that.
Oh, see, it's different. There's a difference, and everybody needs, and I'm going to tell you right now that that client has thanked me for that session multiple times. She needed that. So it changed her. It did something. It snapped something in her. It's not like she's fully recovered at this point, but she heard the truth and had to admit it to herself. So again, how you're taking it is in relation to you. You need to stop listening to other people's sessions if that's how this is. You're not living your own recovery.
Right. I guess I was just kind of feeling like I was in a similar spot.
No, you guys are same belief system. You're both in the same exact belief system, but you're in different positions and you have different ways of coping. You're not coping like she does. You're not. Different. You're so different. I mean, yeah, I can be very upfront, very abrupt. I lost my shit in that session. I did apologize. But you don't see or hear conversations before or after, or there's just detail missing. I think there was this whole session I didn't record with her. You didn't see any of this. I mean, so stop comparing yourself to others, and that is a downside with clients. There's an upside of you're getting information and help from other people, listening to them, but the downside when you start comparing yourself to others, that's something you need to start recovering from. You know, your process of recovery is yours, and whatever it's going to take for you to recover is what it's going to take for you to get there. It is a process. To compare the process it's taking her and the approach I'm taking to crack it open for her, I don't necessarily think that approach would work for you.
Okay.
Notice how much more gentle I am with you. You're very different. You're just different people.
That's why I sent that email, because I was like, oh my God, like, I think I was afraid to talk to you. I was afraid that I would get yelled at, because if I was on it, and I told my friend, I said, okay, well, I'll talk to her, but then I won't tell her the truth. And she's like, well, that's pointless.
That is pointless.
She's like, don't bother if you're not going to be honest. I'm like, okay, I'll be honest. You know,
yeah, you need to stop watching those YouTubes. I honestly believe that right now. Until you're recovered, you need to focus in on your process. Because we got to get you to strengthen yourself to the point at which you're ready to recover. And that strengthening and what develops courage, right? Again, the word I want you to focus in on is courage. What is this going to take? I have to have courage to face it. to face something I don't want to face. And you have to have courage to face that your husband might be cheating, which means, i.e., I might be dedicating my life to a failing system that will never work. And I'm working hard for nothing. Goes in circles, goes in circles. What if your working hard is for nothing? The moment I saw that was the end of my eating disorder. It opened up everything in terms of facing fatness, the alternatives, and where I went and was guided in that moment. But that was a very important moment for me, was to look at the truth. Where can I escape this? Can I escape this and still be thin and want to be thin? And I realized the answer is no. There is no escape.
I can see that point. I mean, because deep down inside, I don't see it yet.
Yeah. So I think what might need to happen, I think this is how we should end the session, because I gotta go. You need to start a diet. I think that would be a good place for us to end the session. I want you to commit to doing paleo, and I need you to commit now. Don't commit tomorrow or this weekend. That's another thing you've been doing. Oh, I'll commit on Monday. No. Yeah. You need to commit today, because you're having a hard time accepting your weight today. Commit today. You're on paleo now, and I want to encourage it.
Or keto, you mean?
That's what I meant. Yeah, it's all fucking same. Jesus Christ. Let's just, it's like churches.
I know.
Okay, my dear. I'm going to try to get these two. It might take me a little longer to send you this video because